Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Vision of Love show. My name is Michael ALPOUGH, and I'm wishing you a very happy Monday morning. It is 10 o'clock out here in the West Side. West Side, West Side, West Side. Who's in the middle? Who's back east? What are we? It's 10 o'clock here. Where are we at? Noontime, lunchtime. 1 o'clock Eastern. We're going to be broadcasting here 3 times a day. This is our morning broadcast. We decided that today is a good day for what we're going to talk about. Is it time to reinvent yourself? Where are we in this world that's ever changing day to day, minute by minute? Just want to give a shout out that we are coming live with StreamYard rocks. It's a new company that's been around a couple of years. Allows you to stream on different platforms. Like today, we're on my Facebook page. We're also on my YouTube page and also Twitter. And the exciting thing is, we just it hasn't been not even a week. And, it's just coming so far just in a week. We're going to be broadcasting on a lot of different platforms all around the world. It is my desire that people find their vision of love. And so I want to do a little recap here. Yesterday, I hope everyone had a great holiday. However that means to you. There's always the interpretations of all the different holidays on the Gregorian calendar that we live on. There's so much more information that I'm going to be giving you in the coming months about just all kinds of different subjects. One of my big passions is water. You see, I have my glass container. I filter my water every day. We'll be talking about water. Water is the key to everything. Everything starts with water and what kind of water that you put in your body. So it's just so funny. Water's controversial. So strange. Water's controversial. And here I'm going to have my coffee here. Shake it up. Shake it up. I like to keep my coffee hot. Of course, I drink the dark organic. I try to stay as organic as possible. So if you're just getting moving here, it is Monday. And so with that said, we always know what Monday means. Money. Isn't that a great day name? Whoever came up with that. Monday, like money. Do you wake up different on Monday than you do on a Friday or a Saturday, right? Even a Tuesday, excuse me. Every day's different. Sometimes Tuesday's worse than Monday. But Monday is always that day where it's a new beginning of the week. Okay. Again, I know I'm skipping around here a little bit. I did want to get back to the place of recapping yesterday and how the holidays for everybody is different. What I always try to do with every holiday that comes up and even though some of them don't affect me, I know that there's still something to celebrate with who's celebrating the holiday. And so whatever Easter means to you is what it means to you. And last time I heard, this is America. And, to be able to express yourself and believe in what you believe, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, then we're all free to be who we are. So I hope you had a good yesterday. It's always a special holiday for a whole lot of people here in the United States as well as around the world. And what I did was with myself, before I get into today's lesson, I really want to be myself. And this is if I can give you anything, is to be yourself. Until you can be yourself, finally, maybe it's just time to be yourself finally, and that's part of the things of, if I can help anyone get over that hump, okay, especially what the subject I'll be talking to today. As some of you know, you're my relatives, friends. If you know my mother, Catherine. She turned 86 last month, and she's in a memory facility. I've gone to see my mother, and they did not allow me to actually be with her. But yesterday, when I called to come and asked to see her, they told me I could come in. I could come in and see her for the first time. For the first time. And so this holiday that we were having was telling me another resurrection. It lifted me up. It's like, for me, it was a lift up. And so my mom, her memory comes in and out. And what I decided to do was I brought her a cake and decided that it was going to be her birthday, because I hadn't seen her, so I couldn't sing to her. And one of the things my mother always did, is every one of my birthdays, she would call to sing to me, happy birthday. Now, my mom wasn't like what you call a singer, but my mom could sing, because when she sang happy birthday, it would get me every time. So I always make sure that I did. And this was the year that I couldn't do it. So I went in, and she was sitting in the central area where everybody kind of was. It was kind of strange. I thought we would be private, but again, it was right before lunch. So I come in, and believe me, before I got in, as I'm driving there, I'm trying not to be a little kid. I'm trying to be a grown up, but I realized that it was an emotional thing for me that I was going to see my mom after not being able to touch her. So I kept it together pretty good. So again, sometimes my mom remembers, sometimes she doesn't. But when I got there, she knew exactly who I was. My mother did. And so I bought her coconut cream cake, her favorite cake. And I had 86 on there, candles. Couldn't light them. So in front of everyone, I started singing happy birthday to her. And remember, this is a memory facility. And almost everybody started singing to my mother. And everyone clapped afterwards. And it was just one of the most moving things that's ever happened to me, to see my mother light up light up like I hadn't seen her in a long time. And so she remembered her favorite cake. Because did you make that? And I'm like, no, Mom, I can't make it like you. I couldn't explain to her, some of the rules are if you bring food in, it has to be sealed, like it's store-bought. You can't cook. I'm going to see if I can change that because my mother loves gumbo. And if anybody who's listening, if you're part of my family, gumbo reigns. If you know all the mothers in our family, Grandma, Aunt Tatu, Aunt Mary, you name it. My mother, my Aunt Susie, rest her soul. All these people I've talked about, rest her soul, they're not here anymore. So then my mom, I bought her a sweatshirt. Nice sweatshirt, blue like she likes it. And she looked at it and just loved it. And then she looked up to me and she said, my sweet Michael. My mom. So it was a wonderful day for me, and I hope you had one also here. So now we're going to get into what we're going to be talking about here. Again, we've always talked about here, I am what I think about. I am an adult of my mind. I am an adult of my thoughts. As we go forward here, the question is, in these times, is it time to reinvent yourself? Is it time to reinvent you? I know it's time to reinvent me. Now, some of you, whether or not you've had a career job, whether or not you're an artist, whether or not you're a businessman, every single time in your career, if you've had the same job, you've had to reinvent yourself. Sometimes you're forced to by your company to reinvent yourself. And so I'm going to give you an example of me in my life. When I was 46, my brother got me on at Ford, working on the assembly line. Now, before that, I was in the medical field, which I was really getting tired of, and it was time. Now, I'd never done anything like that before. But because it was such a good paying job, it was an opportunity to save myself. So at 46, at about 300 and something pounds, I got put on the line, and I was lifting up these 45-pound trailer hitches. Some days I'd lift up 400 or 500 of them, which is a lot of weight, which was like lifting weights. And I went into, eventually I had to do another job, and then another job, and another job. Okay. Every time you get changed on a job there, it is like reinventing you, because your jobs, neither one of your jobs are all the same. Okay. So, but I was willing to do whatever it took to keep that job. So in this process, what are the questions? How do you get to a place where you reinvent yourself? What is the way, how do you simplify? Because there's so many different ways that you can go. And so I think the best way is in reinventing yourself is the first thing you need to do is what are your passions? What are your passions? What do you really what really gets you? What is the things? What do you get? Write it down. Whatever that is, write it down. I don't care if it's like, I want to be a dog catcher. Whatever your passions are, write them down. Now, what it came down to for me to get to my passions, I had to go through a number of doors, just like yourself. How many doors have you opened and walked through on different jobs? How many jobs have you had? Well, if you're as old as I am, you've had a lot of jobs. I've had a lot of different jobs. The one recently was over the last 13 years, I've been consulting with PMF devices, which I'm still affiliated with. But what happened to me is during the course of 13 years after I left Ford, which I'll go into another time, but just to give you an example, in my PMF career, I had to start over about 8 times because the products that I had spent so much time marketing, the company decides to go with one person or not to sell, let there have any more dealers, go out of business, things like this. So here you are marketing, which I'm on the internet. I have to remarket, starting over from scratch every time I have to do a new product. And so what it taught me was to stay flexible. Okay. Stay flexible. And in staying flexible, is what allows you to keep an open mind. Staying flexible. I cannot tell you enough. If you can remember one thing today, is stay flexible. Okay, your body should stay flexible. Stretching, stay flexible, especially in these times. Okay. Is it time to reinvent yourself? What are your passions? And staying flexible to understand what that means. Okay. So now, what are your passions? Well, I narrowed mine down to just 2 or 3. I realize I have so many passions, but what is it that gets me out of the bed? Okay. You see, what gets you out of bed? And that is the question you want to ask yourself. What gets you out of bed? What got you out of bed today? If it's Monday, Monday. Now I love that day because now I'm getting up and doing my passion. And I know I have a long way to go because I just began. But I understand that after all these years, what did I want to do? Well, there's two things. One, I want to help people. One is I want to help you get out of bed every day to be an adult of your mind, an adult of your thought, to be your best friend, to say hello to the world, to let the world feel your presence. This is what I'm doing. I want the world to now feel my presence. Now, I have done many videos for my PMF. One of these days I'll go into the PMF, not today. And so I'm used to talking to a camera. But what I was talking about is nothing to do with me other than the fact that I use PMF and how it helped me lose weight, build my immune system, gave me more flexibility, ignites the brain, keeps the electricity going throughout the body. So this is something that physically, which I'm going to go into down the road, not today, but it's about reinventing. So I went into PMF when it first arrived in the United States back in about 2007. So it was kind of a ground floor thing here in the United States, although it's all over the world. PMF is. The United States is a little bit slow on it, but it's catching up. And so after 13 years of doing that, I will still participate in it. But what I want to do is to participate in the overall mental, physical health of our body. How to get our body and mind, straight on what it is we want to do. So, what gets you out of bed? What are your passions? Now, I know you want to be doing the best in my life. I'm doing the best to live my life. Okay? This is what I want to do. What is it that you want to do? So, the most important thing is staying flexible. What are your passions? Okay? Now, are you your best friend or are you your own worst enemy? Again, if you're your own best friend, that best friend knows its passions. Okay? That's a question that we always want to ask ourselves every day. Even when you're making a decision, hey, am I making this decision as my best friend or my worst enemy? Now, if you've crossed that threshold of best friend, then now you can go with your gut. The brain and the gut are one. The brain and the gut are one. Points in case. The thought that creates stress in the mind, what happens almost immediately? Ugh, that little wheeziness in the stomach, right? A little wheeziness in the stomach causes stress. That the mind, the brain sends electrical charges. It's in charge of the electricity of the body. And it will give you and show you your reaction. So you'll know, whoa. There's your sign. I have to bring this back. How do you do that? Well, are you your own best friend or your own worst enemy? Really comes back to you can just say, I love you, best friend. We're going to make it through. I love you, friend, and we're going to make it through. You're my best friend. What are your passions? Write them down. How are you going to reinvent yourself? Write it down. We're going to even be talking about people who do different things. I have my passions. It's helping people and helping animals. Over my last 13, 14 years, my love of animals and respecting of animals has just totally been different. I want to help animals. I'm going to be starting what's called Animals at Emergency. You realize as you think, so we got screwed in the medical. It's hard to get in to see a doctor, these vaccines, putting us by the wayside. Well, if you think we got put by the wayside, then you have no idea how bad the animals have been put aside. It's darn near impossible to get into to see a vet. Our sweet Bella collapsed. Just collapsed on the floor. We called about 8 within our vicinity of 25 to 50 miles, and we couldn't get her in. They said 2 weeks. Now, also what you have is the charge. The vet bills are astronomical. $2,300 it cost me to take 2 teeth out of Izzy's mouth. Credit cards. This racks up the bills. And there's so many people who are struggling. And so I want to raise money for anyone who's having vet issues for any kind of animal all over the world. So that is my vision. My vision is what I'm doing now, and also to help people like us. So this is one of the main reasons why I'm going to be doing 3 shows a day: morning, afternoon, and evening. Okay. It's going to vary a little bit during the day, but it's pretty much want to do it 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 6 o'clock. So that'll give me an opportunity to reach everybody in the morning, in the afternoon, and during the evening. Because right now, we're living in a false sense of security, and because we don't know what's actually going to happen here. Last year was a trip. This year is going to be another trip. So I'm going to continue on at my 2 o'clock show. We're going to keep going on with this. How to reinvent yourself, how to get better health. These are just the things that prepare you to reinvent yourself. So I'm getting ready to close out here. Whenever your mind is troubled, fill it with love. Fill it with love. Let your cup runneth over. We're going to figure out how to get yours also. So we'll see you at 2 o'clock. Hope you enjoy the rest of your morning. Bye for now.